What's going on, guys? Welcome back, and since we are now edging towards the end of 2021, it is now time for my end-of-year rankings and lists. Now, of course, hopefully my end-of-year ranking where I talk about everything that I saw this year will be coming out at the end of the week if all does go according to plan. But if you guys have been following the channel for a while, you would know that I typically do kind of a top 5 LEGO sets of the year or something along those lines. But this year, I don't even think I got 5 LEGO sets. I think I only got like 4. So this year I decided to mix it up a little bit, do something a little bit different, because while I did not get a lot of LEGO sets this year, I did get a lot of great minifigures, and there were a lot of great minifigures that came out this year. So I'm going to be doing my top 5 minifigures of 2021. Now, I do want to clarify that this is only figures that I personally own or have purchased, because I feel like it would not be fair to include minifigures that I do not myself own. And before we get into the top 5, I do have one honorable mention, so let's get started with that. Now, my one honorable mention is Zombie Hunter Spider-Man from the MCU CMF series. This minifigure was originally one that I set out to get simply because I wanted to update my Sig Fig with those printed arms, but now owning it, I do think it is a fantastic minifigure with insanely detailed printing and pieces that can be used to update any Spider-Man minifigure and make them more accurate. I don't love the cape, but obviously that can easily be removed to simply have an awesome Spider-Man suit. The only reason it did not make the top 5 is simply because there were so many Spider-Man minifigures that came out this year, and despite how detailed it is very similar to other variants of Spider-Man we've gotten in the past. So, unfortunately it didn't make the top 5, but this is still an incredible minifigure. Now, coming in at number 5, we have the Mandalorian in his Beskar armor. Now, this figure is a much-needed improvement upon the last version of the Mandalorian, and is insanely detailed with immaculate printing. I have seen people point out that with later iterations of this minifigure, the visor is seemingly being printed lower. That may be a problem for some people, but it isn't really a big issue for me. There are very few things to nitpick about. Like, I could complain about the fact that the hands would be better suited to be orange than black, but once again, that is a minor nitpick. The only reason it's so low on the list is because globally, it did not release in 2021. The first LEGO set that this figure came out in, Trouble on Tatooine, released on January 1st where I live, but I am aware that in different parts of the world this figure did not release in 2021 and perhaps did release at the end of 2020. That alone is why this figure is so low, but if it had released globally in 2021, it would be like very close to the top. But as of right now, I'm putting it kind of at the bottom, but it's still a fantastic minifigure. Now, at number 4, I have Bucky Barnes, or the Winter Soldier, from the MCU CMF series, of course, based off of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show. Now, I will admit, this is more of a personal thing than anything else, because the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was possibly my favorite thing to come out of 2021, and is easily my favorite MCU thing to date. While this figure is not the most detailed, it is incredibly accurate to his show appearance, and I believe is the best Bucky Barnes minifigure to date. The updated vibranium arm in the black color is perfect, and the printing is very accurate to his appearance in the show. The face I wasn't super keen on initially, but I've really grown to like, and once again, I will admit, it's more of a personal thing than anything else. It's not the most detailed figure, but the fact that this figure did come out this year based on my favorite show is just really cool. My third favorite minifigure of 2021 is Darth Maul, or simply Maul, from the Duel on Mandalore set. Now, this figure may not be the most detailed once again, but I really like the color transition going on here between the black and the gunmetal gray, and it is easily the best Maul minifigure I own. But I did realize a simple update you could make that really does bump this figure up a couple notches. By simply adding the Sylvie arms from the MCU CMF series and painting the horns to be a light tan color, I was able to bump this figure up from potentially not even being on the list to being in the top 3. The top 2 were very difficult to decide on, but at number 2 I have Boba Fett from the new Slave One, or Boba Fett's Starship set. This minifigure is incredibly detailed and is easily in my opinion, the best Boba Fett minifigure to date. In fact, it is so accurate that I feel I need not get any of the upcoming Book of Boba Fett sets, because I feel like it is already extremely accurate to the show as well as The Mandalorian. This one is a little bit special to me, considering the fact that I never got any of the kind of older Boba Fett minifigures. I have the late 90s Boba Fett minifigure, but I never got any of the 2010s Boba Fett minifigures, so this one is just kind of a special one for me, as well as just how incredibly detailed and accurate it is to the source material that is based on. But at number 1, I feel there's no surprise here. I have the Falcon, or Sam Wilson Captain America, from the MCU CMF series, based off of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now, this minifigure is just kind of beloved by everybody. The printing is insanely accurate. I don't even need to describe it. I can just show you how much effort was put into this minifigure. And especially since over the course of the year I've seen so much shade thrown at the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which really does hurt considering how much I adored that show. And this figure seems to be the unifying force for a lot of people who are fans of that show. Everyone simultaneously agrees that this is the best minifigure of the MCU CMF series, and in my opinion, it is the best minifigure of 2021. With all that said, that is it for my top 5 LEGO minifigures of 2021. Once again, this is only based on my personal opinion and the minifigures that I purchased and own myself. If you have a different list, please feel free to share it in the comments below. Here's to hoping that 2022 will be full of just as many great minifigures. You guys, please let me know all your thoughts in the comments below, and of course, as always, I hope you guys have a great day. Take care.